Bharat Bhumite Haila Manusha Janmajar Janma Sartika Kodi Koro Para Upakar Bharat Bhumite Janma Abhaila Manusha Janmajar Janma Sartika Kodi Koro Para Upakar
Bharat Bhumite Haila
Bharat Bhumite Haila Manusha Janmajar
Janma Sarthak Kari Kara
Janma Sarthak Kari Kara Para Upakar
Bharat Bhumite Haile
Bharat Bhumite Haila Manusha Janmajar Janma Sarthak Kari Para Upakar
Bharat Bhumite Haila
Bharat Bhumite Haila Manusha Janmajar
Janma Sarthak Kari
Janma Sarthak Kari Para Upakar Bharat Bhumite Haila Manusha Janmajar Janma Sarthak Kari Para Upakar Bharat of India Bhumite in the land Haila has become Manusha human being Janma birth Yara anyone Janma such a birth Sarthaka fulfillment Kari doing so Kara do Para others Upakara benefit. Translation and purport by His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada. One who has taken his birth. No, I'll say it first. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatvarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. Now you can repeat. One who has taken his birth as a human being in the land of India, Bharatvarsha, should make his life successful and work for the benefit of all other people. Purport. The magnanimity of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is expressed in this very important verse. Akshurum militam yena tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Kapitam yena bhutale Swayam Rupakadatmahyam Adati Swapadantikam Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swami Niti Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharine Nirvishesha Punyavadi Pasyatya Rishatarine Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasari Gaur Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. So Sri Rupa Goswami says, Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate. That Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Mahavadanyaya, the one who is giving the most compassion, the greatest, the most magnanimous, because Krishna Prema Pradayate. He's giving Krishna Prema freely. Of course, in one sense, it's not free. No. Freely means it's available to everyone. But it's not free in the sense that he's giving it, but you have to take it. And to take it, you have to become qualified. And to become qualified, you have to follow the Shikshastika. This is our qualification for receiving Krishna Prema and allowing it to enter into our heart means that we follow the Shikshastika. To follow Shikshastika, you have to follow Bhagavad Gita. And to follow Bhagavad Gita, you have to associate with the Vaishnavas. And then Bhajana Kriya. Then you have to learn how to do bhajan. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur said that there are two things. One is sadhana and the other is bhajan. That sadhana means you strictly follow rules according to a schedule. And bhajan means that you're so absorbed in Krishna that you may not follow all the rules, but you will be more stricter than anyone who follows the rules because you will be totally absorbed in Krishna. Naturally, that is real bhajan. Bhajan doesn't mean we sit together with mridanga and harmonium and sing some bhajans. Bhajana means, so bhajana kriya, to enter into the bhajan of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu requires a spiritual master, requires association with Vaishnavas. And therefore Narottam Das Thakur says, Hari Guru Vaishnava Bhagavata Gita. These 5 things are 5 sources of spiritual nourishment. First, Hari, Krishna, Guru, the spiritual master, Vaishnavas, just like so many Vaishnavas here. Bhagavata, the Bhagavatam, and Gita, and Bhagavad Gita. So all these things are necessary so that we can receive Krishna Prema. Just like you can have the most potent seed, but if you plant it in dry, non-fertile soil, nothing will happen. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu can give unlimited prema, but if our heart is hard or our heart is contaminated with all kinds of material things, in Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says there are 6 weeds that grow in the heart, and those weeds will keep us, puja, patishta. We want to be worshipped, we want to be recognized. Jiva himsa, that we commit violence. Srila Prabhupada explains that what does that mean? Committing violence doesn't mean you hit someone violently. It means, Prabhupada said, violence against the jiva means that you have the opportunity to give them Krishna consciousness and you don't do it. Because I'm more interested in myself. When the ahankara is there, then we don't do it. It's our duty. And this is what Lord Chaitanya is explaining here. So really, this verse is about doing jiva ahimsa, to give the opportunity of every jiva. This is our duty. And so, Lord Chaitanya is giving us the seed, but we have to allow that seed to grow. First canto of Bhagavatam, Vyasadeva, after he meditates on the instructions of Narada Muni, he comes to the conclusion, Yasyam Bhai Shuryamanayam Krishna Parama Purushe Bhaktir Utpadyate Pumsam Shoka Moha Bhayapaha. He says that if you hear very carefully, and what do you hear? Everything about Krishna being the Supreme Personality of Godhead, then the seed of bhakti will grow within the heart. And moha, shoka, bhaya. And these 3 things that keep us from being Krishna conscious: illusion, lamentation. We're always lamenting in the material world. Always lamenting. Always lamenting means we're always lacking something. What we're lacking is Krishna. But we think, no, I'm lacking money. And when I have money, I'm lacking this. Then I'm lacking a wife. Then I have the wife and, that didn't do it. and something else, and I need something else, and we're always in need. But the one thing we need is Krishna. That's why Srila Prabhupada and Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur say there's nothing lacking in this world except Krishna. Even, of course, we know that Prithu Maharaj, when he took over this world, so to speak, the earth was not producing. And he had to challenge the earth and challenge the demigod. But then the earth said, I want to produce, but there's no yajna. So now we see the earth it's only producing war, plague, climate change, and all these things are due to one thing, greed. Greed is very good if it's applied to Krishna. If you're very greedy to have Krishna, this is what Rupa Goswami says, that the only way that you can get Krishna rasa, Krishna bhakti rasa, the only way you can get it is by greed. You have to very intensely desire to have it, and then it will come. It's already there. We just have to wake it up. But that requires an intense desire, because we're covered by so many other desires that are being thrust upon us by a sinful society that we live in. Sinful, materialistic society governed by the three modes of nature. So it's a very big challenge. It's actually not that difficult. Only requires one thing. Anyone know what that is? Surrender. You just have to surrender to Krishna. Otherwise, Daivihesha gunamayi mama maya durataya mama vihepapadyante mayame tantarantite. Krishna said, you surrender to me. He says it again and again, and I will take care of everything. Of course, taking care of anything doesn't mean we lay back, have a coconut, and wait for Krishna to arrange everything. No. It means that He will give you the intelligence. What does Krishna give us? Intelligence. How to do things properly. Not that when he does everything, it doesn't mean that he will do it and I will sit back and enjoy life and let Krishna do the work. No, that's not Krishna consciousness. That's me consciousness. This is what the whole world is suffering under, this illusion that God, the Christians, the Muslims, they think God owes me something. He put me here in this unjust situation, and therefore he has to arrange everything. In the meantime, I'll just enjoy my senses. Well, he does that because I believe that he'll do that. I'm following my religion, I'm following my dharma, and everything will be okay. Otherwise, let Krishna do all the work. And I will just enjoy life because he created all this problem. I didn't do it. So this is the illusion that we all live in. Although he, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, was born in Bengal, and Bengalis therefore have a special duty toward him, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is addressing not only Bengalis, but all the inhabitants of India. It is the land of India that actual human civilization can be developed in India. So this is, as far as traffic control or things, that maybe India is not the best. Some other aspects. But just like I remember one time in Kolkata, there was especially in Bengal, when on the train tracks, everybody lines up on both sides, and then when the train goes by, everybody comes together and they're shouting. Somehow they work it out, but you go to Kumbh Mela, everything is perfectly, millions of people. Nowhere in the West could they organize something like that with so many people. Everything, there's a place you can go to the bathroom, there's a place you can eat. Everything is there. But as far as traffic, they're not so good. No. But Kumbh Mela, they can do something no one else can do in the world because it's spiritual. And that's what Srila Prabhupada is saying here. Humans, therefore, human civilization, if we want to translate it into something, it means spiritual life. That is human. And therefore, it says here, Manusha Janma, human life. For animal life, maybe the West is more developed. They have made animal life very nicely, sophisticated animal life. Like Srila Prabhupada said, the animal is walking on 4 legs looking for food, and the human being is on 4 wheels, but doing the same thing. Just the animal does it more easily. It doesn't have to manufacture an automobile, and then you have to pull petroleum out of the ground. Oh, let's have electric cars. What's the problem with electric cars? Well, there's big batteries full of all kinds of poisonous chemicals. So if you have millions and millions of electronic cars, what will you do with those millions of batteries which will contaminate the water table? So there's no technological solution. The technology for the solution is given by Rupa Goswami. Bhakti Rasamrita Sin, that's our technology. Nobody has a science of spirituality like Rupa Goswami has given. Human life is especially meant for God realization, as stated in Vedanta Sutra, Atato Brahma Jigyasa. Anyone who takes birth in the land of India, Bharatvarsha, has the special privilege of being able to take advantage of the instruction and the guidance of the Vedic civilization. He automatically receives the basic principles of life for 99.9% of the Indian people, even simple village farmers and others who are neither educated nor sophisticated, believe in the transmigration of the soul, believe in past and future lives, believe in God, and naturally want to worship the Supreme Personality of Godhead or His representative. These ideas are the natural inheritance of a person born in India. India has many holy places of pilgrimage, such as Gaya, Benares, Mathura, Prayag, Vrindavan, Haridwar, Rameshwaram, and Jagannath Puri. And still, people go there by the hundreds and thousands. Although the present leaders of India are influencing people not to believe in God at the time Prabhupada wrote this. Not to believe in the next life, not to believe in a distinction between pious and impious life. And although they are teaching them how to drink wine, eat meat, and become supposedly civilized, people are nevertheless afraid of the 4 activities of sinful life, namely illicit sex, meat eating, intoxication, and gambling. And wherever there is a religious festival, they gather together by the thousand. Of course, nowadays they're less fearful of these 4 things. The materialistic propaganda has become more effective. People, thanks to the wonderful contribution of what we call social media. I call it social degradation. So, try to make everyone think everything related to the body. Everything is the body. Social media. So, it's a very unfortunate thing. Of course, we can use it for Krishna's service, but most people, just like Srila Prabhupada said, this microphone becomes spiritualized when you use it for Krishna's service. But most of the microphones in the world are not used for Krishna's service. And even our microphones, sometimes they make us deaf. We have actual experience of this. Whenever the Krishna consciousness movement holds a Sankirtan festival in a big city like Calcutta, Bombay, Madras, Ahmedabad, or Hyderabad. Thousands of people come to hear. Sometimes we speak in English, but even though most people do not understand English, they nevertheless come to hear us. I remember one Pandal program in Delhi, 1976, Srila Prabhupada. It was Ekadashi, and so we were, those days, we didn't hire people to put up the tent, we put up the Pandal, the devotees. Sometimes it was a big, but this was a medium-sized Pandal. So we were supposed to, when Prabhupada came in his car, and we were all sitting chanting japa. And Prabhupada said, what is this? Why are you all sitting? And someone said, Prabhupada, we're supposed to chant more rounds on Ekadashi. Prabhupada said, Ekadashi means more service. No. Service is to put up the Pandal. No. Everybody got up. So, and then that night, so many people came. So many people. And Prabhupada spoke in English. And, many people didn't understand. But they stayed. They stayed and they were listening. And another Pandal, of course, Prabhupada was invited. There were some Mayavadis, some, they were all Mayavadi to some degree, but one of them was very bad. So Prabhupada heard the first person. He was a little bit Mayavad, but he spoke something about Krishna, about Ramchandra, so Prabhupada tolerated. Then another man spoke, Prabhupada tolerated. But then the third one was a total Mayavadi, and he began to speak, and Prabhupada told Brahmananda, stop him. Brahmananda didn't know what to do. They looked at Prabhupada, the man's speaking, and Prabhupada said, stop him. And so Brahmananda was thinking, what am I supposed to do? Grab him and pull him off the stage? Didn't know what to do. And so Prabhupada looked at another devotee, stop him. And Prabhupada could see devotees didn't understand. He said, kirtan. No. And so they started a big kirtan, and everybody was like this. My body was speaking, everybody was like. And then the kirtan, everybody jumped up, got up, and said, So Prabhupada knew what to do. He knew how to do it. He would speak. Prabhupada said, generally people's attention span 10, 15 minutes on a public program. So then you speak a little bit, and then you have prasadam and kirtan. And Prabhupada said that for the general populace, prasadam and kirtan. For philosophically minded people, Bhagavad Gita. For devotees, Bhagavatam. And for pure devotees, Chaitanya Charitamrita. So we have something for everyone. Everyone will be satisfied by this Krishna consciousness movement. Even when imitation incarnations of Godhead speak, people gather in thousands. For everyone who is born in the land of India has a natural spiritual inclination and is taught the basic principles of spiritual life. They merely need to be a little more educated in Vedic principles. Therefore, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says here, Janma Sartaka, Karika, Pada Upakar. If an Indian is educated in Vedic principles, he is able to perform the most beneficial welfare activity for the entire world. So, Prasad Maharaj, he said that Parenaya Munaya Sa Vimukti Kama. That most materialistic, not materialistic, but most saintly persons, they're thinking vimukti kama. They're thinking about their own liberation. Maunam charati vijane. Na paranishta. That they are not interested in paranishta, in helping others. They're interested in themselves. So they may be very austere, and they may be very, saintly in their own behavior. So he says, Naitan vihaya kripanan vimamuksha eko. He said, but even though these people in the material world are kripana, they are materialistic, miserable people, but still, I cannot look for my own liberation or think about myself when I see their suffering, because Nanjat Todasya Sharanam Brahmato Nupashe. Because they, other than your mercy, my dear Lord, they have no hope. So this is the basic principle of the compassion that's being spoken of here in this verse and this purport. That what is the alternative? If we don't do this, people, as Srila Prabhupada just mentioned, people will be bewildered and misled by so-called incarnations. One incarnation, Prabhupada was in the U.S. This incarnation was traveling also in the U.S. And so they told Prabhupada, he said that he is God. And Prabhupada said, oh, then you tell him that I offer my boot in his face. And he said, and if he's God, he can punish me. No, this is my offering. Boot in face. And if he's God, he can punish me. No, for this, my big offense. What Prabhupada said, you never say the name. No, he would never say the name. He would just say what they're doing and what is the solution. At present, for want of Krishna consciousness or God consciousness, the entire world is in darkness, having been covered by the four principles of sinful life, meat-eating, illicit sex, gambling, and intoxication. Therefore, there is need for vigorous propaganda to educate people to refrain from sinful activities. This will bring peace and prosperity. The rogues, thieves, and debauchees will naturally decrease in number, and all of human society will be God conscious. So this is the vision of a devotee. When a devotee goes out on Sankirtan to distribute books or to preach or to distribute prasadam, this is how they think. The whole world must become Krishna conscious. I'm not thinking, let me go out and give 100 books or something, and I did my duty. No, we never rest. We never rest. We never stop until everyone is Krishna conscious. One time, devotees said, Srila Prabhupada, what will we do when everybody has a book? And Prabhupada said, then you give more books. People are being born every day. Then one devotee said, but yes, Prabhupada, but even though they're being born, if in their house there's already a set of books, then why will they take more? And Prabhupada said, then we can go to another planet. No. That was Prabhupada's spirit. Didn't just stop with this country or this place, everywhere. So, and another thing, like just meat eating is becoming more popular. I saw about a few weeks ago these little things that pop up when you go on Google, all these little articles you can read. So I saw one. It said, the perfect diet. This is from India, not from the West. And so it said, everyone must eat some meat. Must be. It's necessary. Must be. So the people in India are eating too many, pulses, meaning dal, and they must eat meat. The propaganda. None of us are eating meat, and we're all happy. I'm still 73 years and I'm still going. So it doesn't require any meat. The practical effect of our spreading Krishna consciousness, the Krishna consciousness movement all over the world, is that now the most degraded debauchees are becoming the most elevated saints. This is only one Indian's humble service to the world. Otherwise, Prabhupada is recognizing his own effort. He's saying, otherwise, Prabhupada is glorifying India. He's saying, if India could produce one person, like he's speaking of myself, and just by one person going and giving thousands and thousands of people are changing their lives, what would happen if all Indians go all over the world and spread Krishna consciousness? So this is an invitation for all of you to become prepared. Just like Prabhupada gave a lecture in MIT, and he said, so all of you have come here to work for them, and I have come here so they will work for me. They work for Krishna. And he said, you have come here to take something from them. I have come to give. You're just coming here. Why are you coming here? You should come here. And then Prabhupada spoke this verse. You should come here to give Krishna consciousness. Even if you come to work, that should be just for maintaining the body. Everywhere I go where there's a little Indian community in the U.S. Or anywhere where I go in the West, I always say that. You should all get together, go out on Sankirtan, distribute books. This is your duty. This is the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. This is not a suggestion. This is not like some, take it or leave it advice. This is the order. Ataiva amigagya dilun sabakare jahan dahan premapala deha jaritari, which is one of the previous verses. Which verse is it? And then 39, basically says the same. 36, and then 39, he repeats himself. In 36, therefore I order every man within the universe to accept the Krishna consciousness movement and distribute it everywhere. And then in verse 39, distribute this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world. Let people eat these fruits and ultimately become free from old age and death. And then he speaks this verse that we're studying now. If all Indians had taken this path, as advised by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, India would have given a unique gift to the world, and thus India would have been glorified. Now, however, India is known as a poverty-stricken country. Not so much nowadays. And whenever anyone from America or another opulent country goes to India, he sees many people lying on the footpaths for whom there are not even provisions for 2 meals a day. There are also institutions collecting money from all parts of the world in the name of welfare activities for poverty-stricken people, but they are spending it for their own sense gratification. Now, on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this Krishna consciousness movement has been started, and people are benefiting from this movement. Therefore, it is now the duty of the leading men of India to consider the importance of this movement and train many Indians to go outside of India to preach this cult. So there it is. Srila Prabhupada said, not only do we have the responsibility of preaching here, but we have the responsibility. Krishna has made this arrangement. Now, in many Western countries, there's a lack of leadership. Everyone is so absorbed in material life, and material life is so complex, especially in the West. It's so complex. You have to work so hard, and everybody is aspiring for more and more and just totally caught up. There's no time. We have a leadership crisis in many places in the West. So many of you can become trained. Get your profession, whatever you need, and then go and preach Krishna consciousness to these unfortunate people. Now, on the order of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, this Krishna consciousness movement has been started, and people are benefiting from this movement. Therefore, it is now the duty of the leading men of India to consider the importance of this movement and train many Indians to go outside of India to preach this cult. People will accept it. There will be cooperation among the Indian people and among the other people of the world, and the mission of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will then be fulfilled. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will then be glorified all over the world, and people will naturally be happy, peaceful, and prosperous, not only in this life, but also in the next. For as stated in Bhagavad Gita, anyone who understands Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, will very easily get salvation or freedom from the repetition of birth and death and go back home, back to Godhead. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu therefore requests every Indian to become a preacher of his cult to save the world from disastrous confusion. This is not only the duty of Indians, but the duty of everyone. And we are very happy that American and European boys and girls are seriously cooperating with this movement. One should know definitely that the best welfare activity for all human society is to awaken man's God consciousness or Krishna consciousness. Therefore, everyone should help this great movement. This is confirmed in Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 22nd chapter, verse 35, which is next quoted in Chaitanya Charitamrita. Etavad janma sankalpyam dehinam iha deheshu. Everyone who is embodied in the material body needs to receive these fruits of love of Godhead. This is a verse from Srimad Bhagavatam. Well, we'll just read the verse. It is the duty of every living being to perform welfare activities for the benefit of all others with his life, wealth, intelligence, and works. That you can take it successively. The best thing is to give your life. But if you can't give your life, give your wealth. If you have no wealth, give your intelligence. If you have no intelligence, then chant Hare Krishna. Give your word. So everyone can do that. But if you can give all four of them, then that is the perfection of life. So this is the next verse, which has a very beautiful purport. This whole section of Chaitanya Charitamrita, we should read it very carefully, because these are the instructions of Lord Chaitanya when he began the Sankirtan movement. He made these instructions for all of us. And so, if we take up this Krishna consciousness movement very seriously, then we will get the greatest benefit. If you do some puja, or you make some contribution to the temple, or you give, all this is very wonderful. But if you can go and give your life to Krishna consciousness and helping others to become Krishna conscious, then this is so much more beneficial. This is the actual purpose of human life, to become Krishna conscious, but not just to become Krishna conscious, to give Krishna conscious. We can see throughout this whole purport, Srila Prabhupada is speaking about the natural compassion that will be the result of chanting nicely. Otherwise, if we're chanting the Maha Mantra and feeling what one should feel when one chants the Maha Mantra, not that we do it mechanically. Just like sometimes in Kirtan, I see that someone will chant a little differently, but everyone chants the same. That means that your body is on remote control and it's just chanting, but the mind is somewhere else. Otherwise, Kirtan is very, just like anyone who plays the mridanga, say someone is singing and someone's playing the mridanga, they have to reproduce just the right melody, the right rhythm, everything. They have to hear. But that's not only for the mridanga player, that's for everybody. We have to learn to hear properly. And when we hear properly, there's one verse by Lord Brahma, which I forgot, but basically the verse says, when one becomes very attached to Krishna consciousness, then one begins to see through the ears. You see? No. Krishna says the same in Bhagavad Gita. Pashanti jnana chakshushaha. You should see through the eyes of knowledge. These eyes are very insufficient. No. We can see something a few meters away, even if it's just like a beautiful woman or a handsome man. At a distance, they look very perfect. Then you get up close, you see all the defects. No. And so, and of course, sometimes they put a lot of cosmetic and make it look very nice. Try to make it look as good as possible. Whereas in Krishna, in the case of Krishna, param param bhushana bhushanangam, Krishna makes his ornaments look beautiful. We try to put on ornaments to make ourselves look beautiful. But Krishna makes his ornaments look beautiful. Prabhupada said, just like gold becomes more beautiful when you have a diamond. And so Krishna is like the Vaidurya diamond. He makes everything look so beautiful because he is so beautiful. This was expressed by Sanatana Goswami in his commentary on the Damodara-astakam, where it says that the Kuntalai, they're ornamenting Krishna's face. No. And he says, no, actually they're kissing Krishna because they're so grateful. They become very beautiful because Krishna is so beautiful. So also, when we're Krishna conscious, when Krishna enters into our hearts, we become very beautiful, meaning we are full of good quality. We're not so interested in the external beauty of the body because that goes away. Like people try to be very beautiful or very handsome, but how long does it last? You certain age, you may look nice. Then the wrinkles come and the gray hair, then you kind of like this. No, can't hold yourself up straight, and you can't move so quickly, and then you die. So what is the use of this material beauty? But if we can actually reflect the beauty of the jiva inside of us, that beauty is very wonderful, and it only increases. Anandam buddhi vardhanam. By the chanting of the holy name, the beauty of the soul increases unlimitedly. So these are the effects of Krishna consciousness. And we should be very attentive. Just like Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, when instructing Sanatana Goswami, he spoke about this very elaborately, showing what are the symptoms of someone who is becoming Krishna conscious. Virakti, they are detached. They become detached naturally. Just like I've given the example many times, a child, You give a small child a toy and you try to take it away, oh, big problem. But you give them a better toy and they give it up. So we have the best. When we have Krishna consciousness, we will naturally give up Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe. Rupa Goswami said that Nirbandha is from Sabandha. Otherwise, when we become attached to Krishna, Maya Sakamana Parto Yugam Yoja Yugam Marashayaha. That when we become attached to Krishna, we become detached from material life. Naturally. It's natural. Because forced detachment never works. Just like there was one brahmachari, he was my older godbrother at the time, but he would do these big fasts, like 5 days, 7 days, not eating anything. But then when he finished, then he would go and get 2 papayas and 10 samosas. And so what's the use of the big fast if you just eat and then you would get sick? And then he would fast again because he got sick. Then he would eat again, just like in this cycle. So this is called Bhoga Tyaga. This is the nature of this world. First I enjoy, then I give it up. Just like Srila Prabhupada said, just like the animal, a fox, although I've never seen a fox eating grapes, but that's what Prabhupada said. The fox is jumping, trying to catch the grapes. And when he can't reach it, he says, oh, these grapes are sour. Otherwise, I could have eaten them, but, they're sour. So when we're envious of others, we think, I could do that, what that person's doing, I just don't want to. We think like that. And so this is the nature of the material world, full of envy, full of so many bad, negative material qualities. And Krishna consciousness is the solution. But if we don't give Krishna consciousness to others, then we also become kripana. We become just keeping it to ourselves. Or, as Srila Prabhupada says, you try to make a show of being a learned person. You learn a little bit of something here and there, and then you show it off, and then people think, oh, yes, so nice. And then many people try to collect money. You do that, you collect money, you get some benefit. So this is not the purpose of our human life. The purpose of our human life is to follow the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And to follow the orders of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we have to study Krishna consciousness from the point of view of someone who is very dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And this is the way we become dear to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by spreading Krishna consciousness all over the world. So these are some thoughts on this verse of Krishna consciousness, verse of Chaitanya Charitamrita, very famous verse. Actually, Srila Prabhupada quotes it many times, or parts of it. And so this is your responsibility. This is something that, of course, Prabhupada says at the end, it is everyone's responsibility, but especially those born in India, because you have a special advantage. Although some people try to change the Indian, just like I met one man from India, very big atheist. I mean, he was just a declared atheist. And everything I tried to say, no, he wouldn't accept it. And then I finally said, I think you are just pretending, because everyone in India has natural genetic, it's just genetic. It's not even it's not psychological, it's genetic. They've been worshiping so long and following spiritual life, it's in the gene. And he smiled and he said, Hare Krishna. Declared atheist. But finally it came out. We probably went back to being a declared atheist. But the natural tendency is so strong. Just like we see people, they gather around the altar, and then you try to get in, no way. Try to edge your way in there. No, they won't let you. So this natural tendency is so nice, but we should not just be satisfied. I go out, many people take books. Unless the whole society of India becomes Krishna conscious, and if and when it does, then it's time to go to other places. So everyone should prepare oneself. And of course, not that we just preach outside India, we preach inside India. Doing Harinam Sankirtan, distributing Srila Prabhupada's books, distributing Prasadam, and all these things will give us the possibility that Krishna consciousness can take over the world. Then Srila Prabhupada will be satisfied, and our parampara will be satisfied. Once there are Krishna conscious leaders all over the world. Just like there was one lady, devotee, she was running for president of the US, and then she stopped because some people didn't agree with her policies. So I told her, I said, your policies don't matter because you may enact them and then another party will come in and take them away. But if you become the president of the USA and you just one time, you make a worldwide broadcast and say everyone should chant Hare Krishna, then you've done more, thousands of times more than any of your policies could ever do, because the effect will be permanent. That will be, because here's the President of the United States chanting Hare Krishna. Just imagine what the effect would be in the world. Actually, I know for a fact that the president of the U.S., very secretly, one devotee met him, and they talked, and then he took the devotee. Devotee was explaining a little bit about the Maha Mantra. So he took the devotee into one special room with a big Bible, Christian Bible. And he said, this is where we come to pray when we don't know what to do. He said, sometimes I don't know what to do. So I come here and I pray. And so the devotee gave him Bhagavad Gita and said, if you read this will complement what it says here, and this will give you a better idea, because it was spoken to a person like you, a Kshatriya, a person who's running a big country. So he said, and he took it. And I don't know what happened afterwards. Let's see. He started chanting Hare Krishna. But so these things are happening. It indicates to me that it's time that Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's movement will start. The golden age of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu will start happening. It's already happening, but we don't see it. We see it on a ground level, but you don't see it as a main current throughout the world. But it will happen, and it just requires us to be ready to take up the banner of the movement of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So these are some thoughts on this verse. I can stop here. Any question, comment?
Any questions or comments?
That's not one. Right.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, Maharaj, my question is why Lord Krishna's words are so contradicting? When he's teaching, especially in Bhagavad Gita to Arjun, in the last 18th chapter, Lord Krishna says that don't give this divine knowledge to the one who don't want to listen to this, and the one who will provide this knowledge to the bhakta, he will definitely get the pure devotional service. But here, when he's incarnated as Sri Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, here in the shlok that just you read, he's saying that everyone should be a preacher. So why it's different thoughts in both the incarnation?
There's no different thoughts. Just there's different advice for different time. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to fulfill the instructions of Krishna. Krishna said everyone should surrender to me. But he didn't give a practical way to do it, other than reading Bhagavad Gita and memorizing everything and understanding all the different steps. Nirmamo nirahankaraha santushta yatatam yogi. Otherwise, a lot of instruction. Bhagavad Gita is very difficult to fulfill. And as Kali Yuga progresses, so Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came to make it easier. It doesn't eliminate the instructions of Bhagavad Gita. And even though it says, in Srila Prabhupada explains one of the verses in Bhagavad Gita where it says that that everyone should take up Krishna consciousness. So these things are there in Bhagavad Gita. But Bhagavad Gita is meant to, and Bhagavatam are meant to, they have different parts which apply to us at different points in life. But to preach Krishna consciousness, because you don't just have to, it doesn't mean that everybody will go out and give lectures. No. It means you can preach by your activities, just by being a nice devotee and being friendly to others. Because nowadays people are so much caught up by their maya that they don't have time for other people. Sometimes they don't have time for their own family. So preaching is not just giving a lecture. Preaching means distribute a book. It means acting in such a way that people will want to know why. Why are you happy? We're all miserable. Why are you happy? Of course, they may think they're happy, but real happiness never diminishes. It always increases. Anandam buddhi vardhana. So there's no contradiction. The contradiction that we see is because we try to apply every principle of spiritual life into one activity or one small time period. So we have to learn that, as Prabhupada said, it's a gradual process. And in different steps of that progress, there will be different instructions that come from the same Shastra.
And just like you said that distributing a book is also preaching. So when the Lord Krishna says that to the person who don't want to listen this divine knowledge, don't give them this knowledge, because actually they will not respect it in a longer term. So if a book distributor goes to an atheist or some Mayavadi who don't want to listen this divine knowledge, so will he be earning some sin, or by not by not following the commands of Lord Shri Krishna?
It doesn't matter if they want to listen or not. Even by touching the book, they become benefited. But we want them to keep the book. They will. They'll read it. Just like in Mexico, we had one family. One man, he got a book, he put it in his bookshelf. No, just left it there. His daughter, maybe 5 years later, his daughter was having some problems. With her friends, she took some drugs and feeling miserable. Her life had no direction. So she went into the library, and by Krishna's direction, she pulled out that book, which is among, so many hundreds of books, and read it, and looked at the address, went to the temple, didn't come back. But she left the book on the table. So after she didn't come back, after 2 days, the parents called the police, everything. Then they saw the book, and they saw the address. They sent the son to go find her, and he came, and he didn't come back. No. So then the mother went. She came back, but she was chanting Hare Krishna. And then the father said, "What can I do? I also have to become a devotee because otherwise I'll be miserable." No, everybody wants to be a devotee. So just one book. And at the time the person got it, they rejected it. They just took it home and put it in a shelf. Thought they would never see it again. But no, this is Krishna's grace.
If let's say that they don't respect the book, and will the distributor will get the same? Like if like I have given one of the book to my Muslim friend, and I was a little afraid at that time that his family might not be respecting it, and he keep it far away from its family. He doesn't take it to the home. So if by any chance if he take this book to his home and his family does not respect the book, so will I be getting the same?
No. Prabhupada said our duty is to take Krishna consciousness to others, offer it. We can't make them take it. Otherwise, that's just a ahankar. No. I'm so potent. I'm such a great preacher that they must take the book because, no, we shouldn't think like that. Sometimes Krishna will make it impossible. You can't distribute anything all day long. Every Sankirtan devotee has had this experience. Why? Because Krishna is teaching you. I give the result, Krishna said, not you. Your duty is to perform, to serve me, whether they take the book or not. Of course, we want them to take it, but sometimes Krishna doesn't allow it. And so sometimes that person may not be the right time for them. So therefore, Krishna will allow them to take it at another time.
Thank you.
Hare
Hare
Krishna.
Krishna.
Any other question? Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj, thank you so much for the lecture. Amazing. Maharaj, I just had one question. In the verse, it says that first we need to make our own lives perfect, and then we need to help others because we must be out of the hole in order to help others get out of the hole. So you told that there are two means to get out of the hole or make our lives perfect. One is sadhan and the other is bhajan. But how will we know that at what point of time in our lives we have made our life successful?
Well, first of all, while you're in the process of doing that, you give them a book so that Prabhupada can preach to them. He will be successful. No. You may not be successful. He will be successful. So, and then what we can try to become more qualified so that we can also be successful. We don't base. That's why we distribute Prabhupada's book, because so much potency is there. It's not like if I say something to them, they may not listen. They may think, "Oh, who are you?" But when they see Prabhupada, then they will listen, hopefully. And some people won't listen. But even that book, just being there, if nobody ever touches it again, it's helping to purify their house, purify their consciousness.
Thank you so much,
Hare
Maharaj.
Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj for your lecture. Maharaj, my question is when we surrender Krishna completely, we face so many problems in our life, and there's a word called destiny. Sometimes we take it that it is written in our destiny only, and sometimes we take it that maybe Krishna has some other plans for us. So, Maharaj, how do we sometimes by following that Krishna has this plan for me, Krishna has that plan for me, we usually think, we usually think or manipulate that, interpret that Krishna has something different for me. So, how do we think that what Krishna really wants from us? How
Well,
do
you
we
can-
clear our path?
You can read Bhagavad Gita. I assure you that's what Krishna wants.
How and different problems, how do we, Maharaj, calculate that?
Problems are natural for the material world. Krishna says, Dukkhalayam ashashvatam. This material world is miserable, but sometimes we become accustomed to the misery. No. Sometimes people are happy to be miserable. Meaning, like at least in the West, they have songs of separation. People, oh, my lover went away. What will I do? So, no. But they're feeling separation. They're feeling So this all comes from Krishna. Otherwise, the Radharani is always feeling Krishna has gone away. So that's where the origin. And we do it in a perverted way, in a distracted way or an impure way. But the same thing, it's all coming, everything is coming ultimately from Radha and Krishna. All sentiments, all desires. There's only one real desire, which is to please Krishna. Anyone else? Okay.
If I want to preach, what are the basic things I should know, and what should I even know? If I want to preach, what are the basic things I should know, and what should I even know?
If you want to preach,
What are the basic things I should learn and remember? If I want to preach, what are the basic things I should learn and remember?
just associate with the devotees who know how to preach. Everything we learn, just like in not just in Krishna consciousness, in life, if you want to know something, you associate with those people who are expert at it. And the more expert they are, the more you learn. So we see so many devotees are preaching, we associate with them, we may accompany them and learn how to speak properly. Or we sit and listen to the Bhagavatam or Bhagavad Gita class, and then we learn. Not such a complicated thing. The problem is we make Krishna consciousness and spiritual life is very easy, but we make it very complicated because of our mind. It's very easy. Chant the holy name, distribute some prasadam, go out, Harinam Sankirtan. Nothing difficult there. Nothing that requires a big analysis. But we just have to be serious about it. Therefore, in one verse in the 11th canto, not the 11th canto, I forgot the verse anyway. But it says that one should simply try to please Krishna. That's what we try to do. And if Krishna is pleased, then you will be happy. And if you're happy, you'll know you're happy. Real happiness always increases, never decreases. So the happiness we feel in this world generally, not only does it go up and down, generally goes, at one point goes more down than up, just like a failing company. Failing company, you see their graph goes like that. So because material life is a failing proposition, meaning that you'll get old and die, then your graph will naturally go down. It may go up for a little while, but it will go down. But if we're Krishna conscious, then it will go up, and death will be glorious because we'll be chanting the holy name, or we'll be hearing the holy name.
Thanks, Maharaj. One question is from this devotee. He is asking when we go for publication, then there are multiple people whom we approach and we say to take them Prabhupada books, Bhagavad Gita and other books. So they say that we are eating meat, we cannot take it, and sometimes they use abusive languages, and this creates very disturbing situations. So how should we approach them, and what should we do in that fighting manner? How should we approach them?
Well, it's not that we can't be just so determined that this person has to accept what I'm saying. No. It's not like sometimes, especially sometimes people, they try to convince their family members. And sometimes they're the most difficult people to convince because they know you as my brother or my sister or my uncle, my son. How can a son, 25-year-old son, tell the 50-year-old father what to do? So sometimes we try to invest too much energy in one particular person. We should. Therefore, Srila Prabhupada said, see who is ripe. Just like when you pick fruits, you pick the ripe ones, you don't pick the green ones. If you're taking prasadam, you're picking flowers to offer to the deity, you don't pick the ones that haven't blossomed yet. You pick the ones that are very nice, fragrant, and you offer them to the deity. So when we preach Krishna consciousness, although we give Krishna consciousness to everyone, we look for the symptoms of those people who most need it. Yes.
Hare Krishna Maharaj. Thank you for the beautiful lecture, Maharaj. Maharaj, sometimes in preaching, it's a very great responsibility, and it's asking for a good qualification as well. And like when we are the one who is preaching to another person, it's a very great responsibility, and it's a very great thing. So, but sometimes we also think that we are really not a well qualified person to preach, and we are thinking like, are we really qualified to give the instruction to that person? Even though I'm not also fully following that instruction as well. I'm like in a phase of developing that qualities, but we are instructing others. So it's kind of asking for a great qualification. So are we qualified?
If we're trying to teach something that we ourselves are not following, then it's like there's a famous story Prabhupada told about Gandhi. He said that one time he was speaking and one lady said, please tell my son to stop eating sweets. And he said, yes, please come back next week. And so she came back with the son. He said, stop eating sweets. And the boy said, yes. And so the mother said, thank you very much, but why did you have him come back after 1 week? He said, because I had to stop eating sweets. That's the point. If we're preaching and we find that I find myself in a situation, I'm telling them to do something that I'm not doing, then Krishna's indicating to me, you should do it. But you can still tell people, no, this is the book of our spiritual master, Srila Prabhupada. He's teaching Krishna consciousness to everyone. I'm not so expert, but I'm simply delivering this to you. I always say that.